Okay, guys, so we're picking up from where we left off, and we're going to go straight into our model. Okay, so here we are going to be reading a few short passages. We're going to pick out the clues that we're reading, and then we're going to figure out what is this genre and how do we know? Like, what are the clues that help us to understand? Okay, all right. So it says one day Columbus. So first of all, I know that Columbus is like a famous person in history. And so I'm going to continue reading. It was at a party that a Spanish gentleman gave in his honor. People were saying what a great discovery you made. Okay, so I know great discovery. Several persons were present who were jealous of that great admiral's success. They were proud, conceited fellows, and they very soon began to try to make Columbus uncomfortable. You have discovered strange lands beyond the seas, they said, but what of that? We do not see why there should be so much said about it. Anybody can sail across the ocean and anybody can coast along the islands on the other side, just as you have done. It is the simplest thing in the world. Okay, guys, so the clues that I picked out, of course, are things that I know that has happened in history, which is Christopher Columbus discovering America. However, it's still told in story form, which makes it fiction. And so, because of these clues, I know that this must be historical fiction because of what they have said about Christopher Columbus, and he was a famous person in history. Okay, and so I'm basically going to put that in a different color so you guys can see. Okay, and so what are the clues, right? The clues that kind of help me figure this out is because they have historical facts, right? And then I know that it's not real. Like it's told in a story form. And so this is historical fiction. So we're going to go ahead and move on to the next passage. Okay. The small Texas school that I went to had a tradition carried out every year during the eighth grade graduation. Okay, so eighth grade graduation. I know that people graduate from eighth grade all the time. That's something that happens in real life. Texas is a place in real life. A beautiful golden green jacket, the school colors, was awarded to the class valedictorian. I know that valedictorian is real. I was a valedictorian of my eighth grade class, and so I know that these are things that happen in real life. The student who had maintained the highest grades for 8 years. The scholarship jacket had a big gold S on the left front side and your name written in gold letters on the pocket. So the things that I picked out are things that are in real life. Texas is a real state. Eighth grade graduation is something that people go through in real life. Valedictorian is definitely a real thing that people can achieve. And so this type of genre is realistic fiction. Okay. And I know that this is realistic fiction. I'm going to pick out the clues because it is, even though it's not real, so we can say characters that are not real, but it has things that can happen in real life. Okay? And so this is what helps me to figure out that this is realistic fiction. Okay? All right, let's go ahead and move on to our guided practice. So guys, in the guided practice, you know that this is a time where you pause the video. I want you to try to do it on your own first, just so you can see if you are on the right track, and then you can join with me to see if you got it right. So I'm going to go ahead and continue working. And so let's go ahead and begin. So I'm not going to read the entire thing because you should have read it on your own. But I'm just going to pick out the clues that you should have picked out. And so it says the train, right? Someone's name is William, so I know that he must be the character. It says the town. We have towns in real life. Um, Traveling to unknown lands. Um, but then it begins to say, so here in my mind, I'm thinking that it may be things that are happening in real life, right? But then it says that he notices creatures with bodies and faces unlike anything he's ever seen before, right? He couldn't imagine those dogs with three eyes, right? So so this is why it's important to read the whole thing. Like reading the first part, you would have thought that it was like realistic fiction, but then it talks about creatures, it talks about bodies and faces he hasn't seen, it talks about dogs with three eyes. And so in this, you should have chosen that this was a fantasy, okay? Because these are things that, and then the clues, because these are um, things that cannot happen in real life, right? And then, yeah, so basically, there are things that cannot happen in real life, okay? And that's pretty much kind of like the only clue that you need. All right. And so, excuse me, guys. So for number 2, it says on the um, first day of school. I know that that's a real thing because you guys experienced that. And so that was a clue. Victor, who is a character, okay, stood in line, hour and a half. Another thing that I see that's real, he has papers, he has a computer card, which you guys have. He speaks English and Spanish, which is definitely real. He travels to France. He wanted to travel to France. These are things that happen in real life, right? And so you should have chosen that this is realistic fiction, right? Because even though the characters are not real, these are things that could happen in real life, okay? Okay, guys, so now it has come to the lesson, the part of the lesson where is your independent practice. I want you guys to go ahead and begin working. Really, really try your best. I know that genres can be a little confusing, so this is just the first day, so try your best to do good on the independent practice, do well on the exit ticket, and then we're going to continue going over genres for the whole week so that you guys can do well on your FSA. All right, guys, so you can hit me up during office hours from 10 to 10:30 on Zoom, or you can give me a call or text me. Have a good day.